Mama told me, George, son, be a good boy, and George is a good boy. George is a good boy. I live with Mama and my brother Silvano. Silvano is a good boy. Mama says he's a good boy, and we live in Toronto, and Toronto is big. I live with my mama and my brother in Toronto, and we are very happy. Yes, we're very happy. Only sometimes we're not, and Silvano is angry. Silvano is a good boy, but sometimes not a good boy. Sometimes Silvano shouts loud, very loud, very loud. Sometimes the police don't like Silvano shouting loud, but Mama says he's a good boy. Silvano is a good boy. And yesterday Silvano shouted at the neighbor lady. She's a good lady, yes, that's a good neighbor lady. The neighbor lady is always good to me. I am always good to the neighbor lady. We live in Toronto, and Toronto is big. And why is Silvano shouting at the neighbor lady? He's angry. Why is Silvano angry? I don't know why Silvano is so angry. Mama says he's a good boy. Silvano is a good boy. And George is a good boy. George is a good boy. Mama says so. Silvano says so. Neighbor lady says so. So please stop hurting George, Mr. Policeman, sir. I'm not trespassing, sir. No, I'm not trespassing. I live with my mama and my brother Silvano. We live in Toronto, and Toronto is big. Mr. Policeman, I am not Silvano. Please stop hurting me, Mr. Policeman. Please stop hurting me, Mr. Policeman. Please stop hurting me, Mr. Policeman. My name is George, and I am a good boy. Mama told me, George, son, be a good boy. And George is a good boy. George is a good boy. Woo! Thank you. Man, now I can see me on the screen. That's weird. Okay, I'm going to have to move here. I'm just going to read like this now. This second poem I wrote would have been what I read if I gotten into the next point of the competition. And this I wrote back around the time of the G8 summit in Toronto, which has nothing to do with the poem, I'm just saying. And there were these, there was a YouTube video of some local poets reading a collaborative piece they did, which was, I'm not sure what it was, some political thing. And I was reading a lot of Imagist theory at the moment, so I thought, shit, I could write a better poem like this in standard slam length. And so that's what I did, and I was thinking a lot of St. John of the Cross and The Dark Night of the Soul because of a novel I'm...
Juan de la Cruz, praise him!
Juan de la Cruz! So, that was in my mind, and at one point, while I let all this image cycle around in my subconscious, I sat down during the family holiday in Cape Breton and wrote this. It's called The Dark Night Shift of the Soul. The soul is a beat-up Mexican without a passport, working the night shift at a fast food junction of a factory town where dogs run round and round and the soul wanders round in the smoke-smacked alley at the back of the store. And he's reading St. John of the Cross. And he's reading St. John of the Cross. And he's been reading St. John of the Cross since he was smuggled across the border by a coyote who fought in Vietnam and read LaVey and Ayn Rand, and had an inverted pentagram on the inside of his left hand. The soul ends from a rooming house with squatting walls and floors wet like the inside of a frog's stomach. Hanging on industrial walls is a picture of his three sisters, snug in a frame but hardly safe outside in Ciudad Juarez. He'll only see two of his sisters again. He could have saved her had this new land a use for God, but it only has use for religion. These days the soul can only go outside at night. He's a theologian in a land without theology. Here they think discastled Carmelites, a cheap chocolate bar. Here they worship iron idols, drawn by tankback on their profane nights. He can't stand the cries of the firstborn. He can't read the Bible or the interior castle of St. Teresa of Avila. So he turns to the cold streets and walks into a bar where he wonders about the afterlife. At the pack, the coyote breaks thirst with his 13 disciples, where they talk business over stolen sacraments. The soul and coyote salute, and the soul tries to separate himself from his cold intent. So he drowns out his loathing in a Faustian brew because he knows one day he'll be paying his due. You walk 16 miles. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company soul. Thank you.